So I've heard you say on a few interviews before. You think that that parenting comes into plays a large part of it. So how do these young men getting into gangs? I'm not just talking about black men, just white, black, whatever, Arabic. How do they self-rationalize getting into gangs and carrying a knife? Why do they feel the need to carry a knife?
Number one, most of these kids who are involved in the street gangs don't have father figures.
Right.
They don't have fathers in the home. Most fathers abandon their children. Now, I'm not saying every father abandons, because there are a very small minority who do try to see their children, but the mothers stop them. But a vast majority of the kids who are involved, if you look at every single one that's been murdered this year, shot this year, stabbed this year, you will see that 90% of them have no positive male role model.
Mm.
So it's easier for the gang member to groom them, because the gang member then becomes the role model. So they become the surrogate family for them, because they say, listen, the society doesn't like you because you're black. Your family don't like you because your dad's abandoned you. Your mum's got issues. So what we're in the black community and poor white communities, there's two communities that this really operates
Mm.
in: poor white communities and black communities. In the Asian communities, they have their fathers, but their fathers are not there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Let me explain that. Basically, most Asians will tell you that their fathers are hypocrites. So they pretend to be Muslims, and then they will go to the mosque, but then come home and beat their wives up or drink alcohol. So they
And these
have
are
a
these are the people
different.
you've spoken to, right?
Yeah, these are actual gang
Yeah.
members, Asian gang
Yeah.
members
Yeah.
that I've actually spoken to.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not simply saying that for all Asians. I'm not saying that. I'm saying for the gang. I'm being Pacific here
Yeah.
around gang members.
Yeah.
So when I speak to gang members, that is what they tell me. That the reason why they end up in gangs, the Asian boys, is because their dad is what they would call a waste man.
Mm.
Whereas in the black community and poor white communities, the dads are just not around. So each each ethnic group has a different situation concerning family. It's not all the same. But the poor whites and the blacks do mirror each other in terms of abandonment, about our fathers of abandonment. So it makes it easier for gang members to groom young kids.
How do you think social media and music, especially in London, I mean the drill scene there, um, I don't think it's unfair to say that maybe has a role in it. I mean, um, keeping an eye on myself, like Moscow 17 and Zo 2, are you familiar with them? I think
Yeah,
they're Brixton and
listen,
Peckham, maybe.
trap and drill,
Yeah,
Snapchat all play a major role
right.
in how young people are now stabbing each other. Okay. And that has been like this for at least 7 years, but no one's took notice of it. Because again, when people like me speak to the establishment, they just have me there as a token gesture.
Right.
They don't have it there to listen to what I'm saying. So I've been talking about social media for decades. I've been talking about county lines for decades, but no one listens. And so what happens is you're talking about it now, but it's too late. We can't do nothing about that now, because the YouTube is used in such a way, and most of the guys who make this YouTube music are young black kids.
Mm.
And this is again what I'm trying to show people about how the white kids come into it. The white kids love the music.
Mm.
They love trap and drill. That's why you've got so many white gang members, because when you listen to them, most of the white kids sound black, they act black, they think they're black, and they listen to this music so much. I was dealing with 3 white kids last week. While I was talking to them, you could hear the trap and drill music in the
Like a
background.
relator,
You could,
you see, I'm from a small market town in the southwest, and you get all these kids suddenly talking in a London accent, dressing like
yeah,
drill
and
rappers, you know. So
yeah, it's all about the influence of social media. So social media does play a major contributing factor to why many white kids, many Asian kids are now heavily involved in gang
so
life.
do you think it's the lack of a father figure, and maybe the parenting isn't supporting the kid in a way to make them more constructive, and image as well? Do you think that's more why kids are getting involved in it these days?
I think the fathers have let them down. Now, I know people like to blame the mums,
Right.
but I blame fathers, people like myself, my age group, my generation. We failed our young black kids. We failed them. And the same with white men, my age group, have failed their young white kids, their young generation. We failed because most of us didn't do the right thing by our kids. And you cannot expect a mother to raise 3 kids on her own in any country, unless they're rich. That you just can't do it. And so I think the society that we've become, we've almost accepted that children will have no fathers. We've done nothing about it. We've not challenged the men. We've not sat down and worked out how we're going to get men to be more included. We've not. It's like as if we're saying, oh well, there's no father. Let's go and attack the mum, because that's what happens all the time. A lot of the mums are literally attacked because by social services,
right,
and by the various services, because they call them a bad mum, but they're not bad mums. They're struggling. And if your boyfriend has abandoned you, how on earth are you going to raise a child on their own? I know what that is like. You understand? So I know as a black man, I failed. I'm not even going to pretend. And that's what I think the problem with poor white men and black community men in the black community, they don't admit to their faults. They don't want to face their faults.
To watch the full video, please become a premium member at lotuseaters.com.